Hi, everyone. It's Marlene Sokol Stewart, host of AthCastMusic, the music of Athens, Georgia, now and then. I am really thrilled to have my guest in the studio here at Tweed Recording because I've been trying for a long time and we just couldn't get it together. And there's a really good reason to have them on right now, and you'll find out a little bit later during the podcast. My guests today are Rick Fowler and Mike Doke of the Rick Fowler Band. And Rick is someone who was raised in Bowden, Georgia, and he learned to play guitar at a very early age. And he basically learned from British blues and rock. That was his big thing, Savoy Brown and things like that. And Mike Doke grew up in Monroe, Georgia, and he taught himself everything. He never had a lesson. He never read a note. He never ever had a teacher, and he's pretty amazing. I just got to say, if you've ever seen the Rick Fowler Band, you know what I'm talking about. The Rick Fowler Band, of course, is Rick Fowler, Greg Veale, who could not be here today, Michael Doke, Deane Quinter, and I say that wrong, I'm sorry, Deane Quinter, and he's out due to a shoulder injury, but he's recovering very nicely, and Tim White, who plays organ. Rick moved to Athens in 1991, and once here, he collaborated with so many musicians. Bill Berry, Dave Schools of Widespread Panic, Jack Logan, who I find to be one of the most interesting musicians I've read about here in Athens. Randall Bramlett, of course, who always plays with so many great artists here. They have a new album out called The Deadwood Sessions. And it's because of the guitars that they have. They are made by Deadwood guitars, and they are using trees that have fallen down, basically dead trees. Hence the name. And these are the most beautiful guitars I've ever seen, and you'll see some of them on this episode because they're going to play in the studio as well. The release of Deadwood Sessions, or the Deadwood Sessions, however you want to say it, is Friday, July 18th. They will be playing the Rialto Room on August 2nd. And let me tell you, you don't want to miss this. So I had just a wonderful, serene, lovely conversation with these two gentlemen today. Here is my conversation with Rick Fowler and Mike Doke. Welcome to AthCastMusic, the music of Athens, Georgia, now and then. Here I am in the studio once again. It's been a rough day. There's a couple of things going on in my life that kind of is taking a toll on me a bit, so I hope I can go through this with you guys. One, my husband has an extensive record collection, and we are moving that collection downstairs because it's getting a little heavy upstairs. And it's quite overwhelming. And I've been working on that for over a week. Thank God I had help coming to visit me. And to the IRS. So that was kind of a crappy day. But I'm so glad to be here now because I am welcoming Rick Fowler and Mike Doke to my podcast. So welcome to AthCastMusic, you guys.
Thank you so much. Glad
I
to be
mean,
here.
really, it's been a while since we've been talking about it. I say this all the time. I don't know what happens, but I get booked. And it's, which is a good thing. And, but there's so many people that I don't know still. Kind of one of those, you don't know what you don't know. But I do know you guys because I certainly have seen you plenty of times. But I'm going to say, I don't know if it was the first time I saw you guys and I'm welcoming, by the way, Rick Fowler and Mike Doke here, just to make sure everybody knows that. I know I said it, but hey, it's only part of the band. Greg is not here tonight, Greg Veale. So we will miss him. But I don't know if it was the first time or not. I don't think so. I think I had seen you before. But it was one of those Tommy Jordan William Tonks,
Oh yeah.
Dana Downs, you, Greg Veale,
Where was this?
at Hendershots.
Oh, okay.
I danced the whole time. The
Oh
whole
yeah,
time.
that was
They had a name for that night.
Sideline band. Yeah, it's called the Jordan Tonks Wildcats.
Wildcat. That's what it was.
Yeah,
Oh my gosh, I had a great time listening to that.
it was a fun thing.
And I got to tell you, I mean, John Neff was part of that night too, wasn't he?
Probably. Yeah. I mean,
I'm almost positive. Anyway, so that night was, for me, an Athens moment. It was just so good. It was just fun. I could sing some songs. I like to sing some songs. But I heard you sing, Rick, and I heard a voice, and forgive me for saying this, but you're older like I am older.
I am.
And when I heard you sing some of the songs up there, I was kind of blindsided. I heard a blues voice that had a little bit of a rock rasp and a little bit of a southern flair coming into this blue. I mean, I'm like, holy moly, what the hell? It was wonderful. And I have been going and working for your shows ever since. Yeah. So I want to talk about so many things, but, tell me about that night to begin with, because it was so, I don't know, it was so special.
Yeah, that night was.
And Dana Downs, wasn't she?
Yeah, Dana and William and Tommy and Mark Cooper Smith. It's actually, I think Mark Cooper Smith put that little sideline band together.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and it varies from time to time.
Was it for nurses' clinic or
it might have been for the nurses?
I think it was a nurses' clinic.
I think it's for the nurses'
benefit.
I don't remember. I was dancing.
I'm pretty sure it was.
Yeah.
Oops, I dropped.
Well, and so we did that, and that was a little side thing that we did about once or twice a year. Yeah, but it's a lot of fun. It's a lot of fun.
It was a lot of fun. Like I said, I want to talk about so many things, but I'm going to probably hand over the reins to both of you most of this podcast, because we'll never get out of here if I want to talk about everything I want to talk about, because really I did a lot of reading, a lot of lyrics, a lot of listening. I've been listening even while the IRS was on today. Rick, everything, or everyone, I guess I should say, instead of everything, talks about your band as roots music. So I would love for you to talk about your own roots and how it evolved all these years, because you came from some deep roots.
Yeah. The first band that was notable that it was in was a band called Ziggurat, and I quit them before they got their record deal, because they were. I just had a chance to join these other guys and play stripped down 3-piece, and that's what I wanted to do at the time. And so I formed. Well, I got in the band with them. They already had the band. It was called Deacon Little at the time, and so we got a record deal with this producer named Sonny Limbo. He had a new label.
What was the label?
It was called Sonny Limbo International. Yeah,
Okay.
That was Sonny. And he had produced a few, hits, in the 60s or 70s, I don't know. But and this is, in the 80s when this happened, or late 70s, 79, something like that. And then, so the label, Sonny, it wasn't going anywhere, and this guy came in, this manager guy, and he wanted to get us away from that label. So we changed the name of that band to Fort Knox. We we were kind of one of those heavy rock, not heavy metal really, but heavy rock, you know. And
like loud voices, heavy rock kind of
no,
80s rock.
80s rock,
Oh.
yeah, like classic rock kind of.
Okay.
And
So
so
they were like a power trio.
yeah, a little bit like Bad Company or something, you
Oh,
know.
well, I like that.
Yeah, and so, but you know, it was all original stuff, and so we got signed by Epic Records, and you know had this. But before that, 96 Rock started playing this song, like constantly, you know, and it was because they had an album called 96 Rock Home Cooking, and local, Atlanta
Local,
bands,
yeah.
and so they started playing this song, and Epic. I mean, it was like a big regional hit, you know, and it's a powerful station. But so, you know, we started doing big opening acts and stuff, look at the Fox and Omni or whatever. But Epic signed us, and then we re-recorded that song and a whole album of songs for them, and then went on the road, stayed out for about a year, and we were touring with bands like, I don't know, opening for Cheap Trick and Aerosmith and I don't know, the Ramones and
Jeez,
you
Rick.
know Pat Benatar, you know, a bunch of people.
Those are a
and
lot of outside
yeah,
souls.
but we were just at the opening act
Yeah.
level.
But
We
let
were
me-
headlining 40-watt size
Yeah.
rooms all over. Yeah.
But let me ask you this: as far as your actual personal roots, like where
Mm-hmm.
you grew up, and also where how did you get out of that? Like, was it
Bowden.
Bowden?
Yeah.
I
That-
almost
yeah.
said Bowden.
Yeah, it was
How did you evolve? Not evolve, but how did you create your path, your journey out of there?
Well, luckily at the time I grew up, you know, Bowden it's this small town that's 3 miles from the Alabama line, but
I don't know.
when I grew up, it's in West Georgia, far West Georgia. It was a good time because everybody I knew wanted to be a Beatle. You know, we all saw the Beatles and, you know, the girls screaming, and we had to be Beatles, you know. So we all got into music. And, you know, matter of fact, I went to school with a guy who later became Glenn Fry's drummer. You know, when he moved to L.A. and he was his drummer and played some other big bands. But at any rate, I was lucky because at that time, that little town was full of musicians. And West Georgia College was 12 miles up the road. It's now
Okay.
West Georgia University.
Where's that? Carrollton? Is that where?
Yeah,
West Georgia?
Carrollton, yeah. And so I went to school there, and, you know, everybody was in bands. And so then I moved to
Was it the '80s and '70s and all that?
Yeah,
or-
I think it was because it was the 70s, and rock music was the biggest thing on earth. You know, that's all anybody cared about. That's all we ever cared about. So I was majoring in music there, but then I left after 3 years and went on the road with a band, and then, you know, later I moved to Atlanta, and just, you know, that's how I got out of there. You know.
What about you, Mike?
I grew up in Monroe, Georgia.
I love Monroe now. I don't know what it was like then, Mike, but
It was okay.
I
but
suspect
I
it
had
was a little country.
I had friends that were learning to play, and I had 2 older brothers that were already playing, and so they kind of lured me into it, and it just it never went away after that. It was
So
music all the time.
you went on the road with. They were called the Doke Brothers. Is that what you named your
yes.
band? If I remember
And that
correctly.
was more of a regional act. It wasn't like we had our own record label. We did one album, but it was
What was your record label?
It was called Polecat Creek
I love
Records
that.
and
I love
Tapes.
that.
Records and Tapes.
At
Now this was
Creek. Okay.
79, 80. We recorded an album at Doppler Studios in Atlanta, which was at the time the biggest, best
The
studio.
Hot Shot?
Yeah. And so just
Probably not no more.
got into, yeah, well, that's when Atlanta was a rock and roll town.
Yeah.
Atlanta's a hip hop town now.
Yes.
It's completely changed. But
Yes.
in the early 70s, it it was just wonderful.
My husband
to
and
be,
I went to Atlanta a lot in the 70s.
It was a great place to play music. We played the Agora, Alex Cooley's Capri Ballroom, Great Southeast Music Hall. All those clubs.
I actually came to those from Columbia.
Anything from rock rooms to coffee houses. We did a little bit of everything, but just got into it and never left. I've been in bands since I was 10 years old, and I'm 72.
Now, how did you make it from Atlanta to Athens?
To get out of Walton County and to get back into Athens, because Athens was becoming more of a music town. And we're talking...
Go ahead, tell your age.
I'm 72.
Let's know.
Likewise.
So I just kind of motivated over in this direction and kind of stayed for a while.
Yeah.
And then...
and you felt like home here, and that everybody was welcoming.
Yeah, we had a lot.
I feel like
there was a huge, more than now, I think, a huge music community in Athens, and it was, you had clubs like
more than now. You're saying?
Well, on a different level.
Oh, okay.
I mean, we had had clubs like Tyrone's. The Last Resort was a club. Not
I
a
know
restaurant.
that still blows my mind.
Crow's Nest. It was upstairs room right across from the Arches. And
oh, really?
Yeah, yes. That little, I think it's a coffee shop downstairs, but now upstairs it was an acoustic room, and we played there.
I always say how jealous I am, because I would have loved being here at the time.
It was great.
I just really would have. I'm so jealous.
It was
but
fantastic.
That's okay, because I'm making up for it.
Yeah,
by learning about it and talking to people about it. And, the way I look at your band is that, pretty much, a lot of the same people come to see you guys because they can't get enough, like me.
Thanks.
And then, I see a little bit of the seepage, a little bit of the seeping in of younger people starting to come in because they do want to know a little bit more about what happened here. And you guys have been here for quite a long time.
Yeah.
So I feel like this podcast kind of helps that as well.
Yeah,
because, you got, like I said, Rick, your voice is still so good.
Well, thank you.
As far as, how you project, how you get that blues feeling out there, how you kind of keep that southern little voice all together.
I can't help that part.
Well, I know. What can you do? I'm a Jersey girl, so, you have some of that too. But so I hope that does help people a little bit get involved, some of the younger kids.
Yeah,
because we talk about it when I have the now bands on. You guys are kind of the now and then, which is nice.
We're the old and in the way band.
I always talk about Venn diagrams where, here's the circle, and then in the middle. And I think now and then sometimes meets in the middle there.
Yeah, I think so. And, one of the things that's different about us, there is kind of some blues scene, here, and some really good blues players, but there are not many blues or blues rock bands. And I always, growing up, I mostly listened to British blues rock.
Like?
And then, of course, I got into Johnny Winter, of course, and
seen him a few times.
People like that. So I was always kind of a, blues rock combo.
Well, who did you listen to?
Well, I listened to Johnny Winter. I listened to Savoy Brown. To
I'm moving those records right now. You want to come over and help?
Yeah.
I'll come if you'll give them to me. I'll get them out of your way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I listened to a lot. A lot of the band. Robin Trower. I can't.
I know,
think
it's
of
hard to
the-
remember them
Yeah,
all.
it's hard to remember. And of course, the Stones, Beatles,
Yeah,
Led Zeppelin.
yeah. I mean, I go look at some of the records and I'm like, oh my gosh, I forgot about them. I asked Mike this morning, do you know so and so? Do you remember that band? I remember the albums, but do you remember what they sounded like?
Yeah, yeah.
He remembers much more than I do, much more.
Well,
We'll have to invite you to our welcoming room to
Oh,
our
yeah. That'd be
album/library when we get it done.
I think we're both, we're influenced by Southern rock too. I know Allman Brothers.
What do you think of Monroe right now?
It's changed a lot. I think
Yeah.
it's changed for the better because when we were there, we were this long-haired hippie rock band,
Yeah.
and a lot of the churches didn't like what was going on with us, and we had newspaper.
And that was during
editors.
the Vietnam War, right? Some of it?
This was later than that.
Later?
Yeah.
Okay.
But we had, like there's a newspaper over there, Walton Tribune. They
Yeah.
didn't like us because we had long hair and we played rock and roll music. So they, we had a couple of editorials
rock and roll music.
that slammed us. But
Funny.
it didn't really affect. We kept doing what we were doing anyway. So I mean, it was, it's just part of
And I
it.
bet you're glad you did.
You know what?
They were good. They were big in Atlanta too.
It was.
Yeah.
It's
That's
It was
exactly
fantastic. That's what it was. Still is. I mean, the first band I was in, I was 10 years old, and we didn't even have.
Was that with your
vocals.
brothers?
Yeah, that's brothers.
So you were 10. How old were they?
Middle brother was like almost 2 years older. The older brother was
12? You're
4.
saying 12?
yes,
And the other one?
he was. I think he was 15 or 16. He was the
Wow,
oldest, and they're both passed now. So,
Oh, I hate that. But
yeah, me too.
I've
But
lost a lot of siblings myself.
yeah, it's part of life. But
Well, that's kind of crazy
yeah, and
that you did, and that you did so well and who you played with. They
We were-
invited you to play.
we were playing. We were out having fun doing it. And like I said, the first band, we didn't even have vocals. We were doing ventures, acoustic surf music,
Oh.
but no vocals. And
Did you go to that surf? I don't mean to interrupt you like that, but I won't forget. Did you go to the surf thing at Athens?
I did not.
Oh my gosh, that was so good.
I'm,
And you were doing all that?
yeah, we were
Like Dick Dale stuff?
more ventures.
Oh.
Travis Womack.
Yeah.
Uh,
Yeah.
Travis had a song called Scratchy.
Yeah.
We learned that, and it was hard to learn. But back then, we were playing. This was
Scratch, I remember,
before,
yeah.
this was before anything. It was before FM radio. We had AM radio.
Yeah.
If you were learning to play guitar back then, there was only one book that you could
Mel
buy.
Bay.
Mel Bay. Guitar lessons. There was only one that you could buy.
What's his name?
Mel
Bay.
Mel Bay.
Mel Bay.
Yes.
Yes.
And so when we
See, I
were
couldn't
learning,
understand
we,
Southern.
we just listened to the radio and we'd hear a song and we'd learn part of it, and then we'd have to stop and wait for them to play it again because there was nothing else to learn from. And so that's how we learned by ear. I mean, I've always played by ear. I never read music. Don't want to read music. To me, it was a hindrance. I played with people who would read music and they'd have paper in front of them, and if you take it away from them and put it behind the back, they can't play.
Well, I ran into a situation with my nephew, my great nephew, because he was playing pretty good when he was younger. He was learning chords and notes.
Yeah.
Then he got into music sheets that were just notes and no chords. And then he showed me, I said, well, play something for me because he's been practicing. It's like a video game. It's like, remember guitar? What was that called, guys? Guitar Hero? Huh? Yeah. Where you played the notes and tried to win,
Yeah.
get to the end.
Yeah, I remember
Well,
that.
it was like that. And that's the only way he knew how to play chords or notes at the same time. It's like a video game.
Well,
I was like, you got to go to a teacher.
Yeah, I was never taught anything. I'm self-taught. I actually taught guitar lessons when I was 12 because I had people coming to me. It's like, hey, you're in a band. Let me,
Yeah.
teach me how to do it. So I did that for
Yeah.
a while.
Yeah,
But I
that's
have
cool.
no formal music training. I don't
So many
care
people I
anything
talk to
about
here.
music theory. I've played with people who are into that stuff, but I've always played by ear, and that's the way I learned.
Well,
so.
that's kind of how I feel about you guys. Is you guys know your shit. You know your instruments. You know what you want to do with them. You know how to use them in certain situations. And so I feel like that's the reason why.
We communicate well musically.
Yes.
It's to us. It's a second language. That's what it is.
The fact of the matter is, because you know that stuff, you became in sort of a love affair of three people who knew how to communicate and live together in the musical world.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the full,
not trying to get too out there,
Yeah.
but I do sometimes. So
And the full band there's 5 of us. We got Deane Quinter and Tim
Right.
White on the Hammond.
right,
So so it's kind of that way all the way around. All 5 of us are kind of that way.
yeah.
We're like brothers.
Yes, you are. I mean, I wrote a little bit about each one of you. Let's see where it is, because I don't see it in here. It might be in here. Because I gave a little synopsis. I don't know where I'm losing pages or something. But
It says old men playing guitars. That's the synopsis.
I know. Well, the synopsis is what you did. What Greg did, where he got his experience, where Deane did. How is Deane, by the way?
He's doing good.
Yeah.
Recovering nicely. Yeah.
Deane's out of commission right now due to shoulder. You can't be a drummer with a bad shoulder. But anyway, and Tim, and he plays the organ. I mean, is it a B? It's a B organ, right?
Yeah. Well, he had a B3, and then it actually burned up in a fire in a club.
That was Tyrone's.
Yeah, it was Tyrone's a long time ago. But now what he has is it kind of it's kind of like a B3 you can break down. Yeah.
Nice.
I mean, it's kind of made to sound that
you
way.
got
The
a
cabinet
little bit
that
over
it
there.
fits, the keyboard fits into this cabinet that looks like a B3.
Yeah.
But it does, it sounds like a B3. It's got a separate Leslie
Wonders
cabinet.
never cease.
Yeah.
It's going to get crazier and crazier like that, I think.
Well,
Some for the good, some for the bad.
yeah.
I mean, I don't ever always think that CDs were the greatest invention, so. I would even say that cassettes were a little better.
Hey, I just had to go buy a turntable. I haven't had a turntable in 35 years.
Oh,
And I
wow.
bought it to play this Deadwood
Oh,
album on because it's on vinyl and it's on
Yeah.
CD. And it's like, well, I don't have I had one that burned in a house I had about probably 150 rock and roll albums that burned. And so that was my turntable.
Yeah.
And then, after that, CDs came out, and that was,
That
they were
was
this
it.
big, and you could have 100 of them in your car.
my husband has never given up his Beta, his VHS.
Oh.
He has never given up his turntables. He just bought at an estate sale a stacked deck of CD, radio, cassettes, where you duplicate cassette,
Oh, yeah.
and a karaoke if you'd like it to be.
Oh.
And I said, and what possessed you to do that? He said, it had cassettes in it. I mean, we have a lot of cassettes too, where you could dub things. It had it all for him.
Yeah.
And he started playing it. He
had
hasn't
fun
stopped
with it,
playing.
didn't he?
He's having a blast with it.
Yeah.
So your first album, Rick, was Welcome Champions in 2007. Who was with you on that album?
Welcome Companions.
Yeah.
That was that was an album I did to benefit. I've got Tourette syndrome, and that was
Okay.
an album I did. I wrote a book and made a documentary and about Tourette's, and that that kind of got me involved in all this stuff. So I did an album to benefit the Georgia Tourette Association, and Bill Berry played drums on some of it, and then Randall plays some of it. I forget who all. I'm going to forget somebody.
I'm going to tell you. I have Randall, Bill, Dave
Davis,
Causey,
yeah.
and Jack Logan.
Jack Logan played. Yeah, he sang a song. And Mark Cooper Smith played. Mike Steele played bass. Susan
So I
Staley
didn't see any
sang.
of those.
Oh, I'm sorry.
I didn't see any of those on that album, but I didn't read the whole credits.
Yeah, and Greg Veale played on that album. Honestly, I'd have to look back at it because my memory's shot.
Well, yeah, tell me about it. Well, Bill, I'm just kind of getting to know a little bit. I've had a few little conversations
He's a good
with
guy.
him.
Yeah.
Good
He's
guy.
a great guy. He was so funny the other night. I was like, oh my God, you're funny.
And we did a concert for that album, and Bill played drums the whole
Yeah.
time, and Eddie Glicken played percussion. And,
I know Eddie.
yeah, Damon
well,
Denton played
now.
piano, and Randall organ. Davis played. Danny Esposito, who's no longer with us, unfortunately.
As is Dave, but
Yeah, and Greg Veale.
well, and Randall, I really didn't listen to his solo albums until I moved to Athens. I didn't really listen,
Oh, he's
and when he
great,
started
yeah.
playing, I was like, oh my gosh, why haven't I been listening to this?
Yeah, he's great.
And I think he certainly played with a wide variety of people in the 80s,
yeah.
besides the big ones.
Yeah.
But Dave, I want to talk about Dave Causey for a little bit
Davis,
because Davis, I'm sorry, but it labels him as Dave. But I only really I wish I had known him. I wish I had been able. There's sometimes you think when you learn about these people, you wished you could have talked to, that you could have had a conversation with.
Oh, he was
And-
super nice, super talent and nice guy, super nice.
He has an album on Strolling Bones.
Yeah. Well, I didn't get to go to the tribute for him,
Yeah,
and that created my FOMO,
yeah,
my fear of missing out.
yeah.
That's when I started getting FOMO.
Yeah.
Before my podcast, even.
Yeah.
I hate to go out of town because I know I'm going to miss something. It's always that way. I'm always going to miss something. I miss so many good things.
That's because there's a lot of stuff that goes on.
I'll tell you, I love Athens. I love
too.
everything but the parking. And
Yeah.
other than that,
And the parking tickets.
Yeah, parking
I
tickets.
haven't got one this year.
But I am
They
so
used to be
happy.
$3. Now they're $20. It's crazy.
Yeah, so happy I ended up here.
Me too.
good
We didn't.
place.
We moved here in 2014. But Jack Logan, I went down the rabbit hole with him. What an interesting guy.
Yeah,
I mean,
he
that
is.
guy
I haven't
did
seen him in a
so
long
much.
time, but yeah, he's a good guy. And
Is he's still alive?
As far as I know, yeah.
I have to ask.
Yeah, I think he.
because
Well,
we
he's
never
younger.
know.
He's younger than we are to some degree.
Okay.
And
okay.
It's been years ago, but he wrote some songs, and somehow it just kind of took off on this album.
And he did those comic books with Peter Buck.
Oh yeah,
Do you
yeah,
remember
yeah.
those comic books?
Yeah, he's a talented guy.
I would love to see one of them. I don't know even really. I guess I could look at comic stores or something. Maybe even ask Peter if he has a copy. I just gave him a book. But this guy moved to Winder, Georgia, did these things. I just loved looking at his stuff and that he had a comic book in the album for the Coolies' second album, Doug. You know, that kind of stuff. I think that is so cool about it. That's like Athens in a nutshell almost to me. You know, here we're going to put this comic book
Yeah.
in this album, and it's, you know. But then you did just a small album, Discordia. Is that how you say it?
Yeah, Discordia is one that we did
I'm always afraid I'm
on
mispronouncing.
our own just to sell at live shows mostly. I mean, we put it out, but you know, it was more something at the time we thought, well, you know, we need something to sell at live
It was a
shows.
self-release. It
Yeah.
was no.
That's what I thought. Yeah,
No label
that was my
involved.
next question. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. But it has some good titles on it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
well,
mean,
thanks.
so
There's some good songs on it. Yeah.
yeah. I mean, really, when I went back and listened, because I mean, you can't play everything at your shows, so I went back and tried to listen as much as I could of stuff.
All that stuff was live, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Most
Well,
of
that
it?
was an out live from Athens.
Yeah, we did the
album.
Live from Athens album, and that was kind of lucky because what I did on that was I borrowed some mic splitters from John Keane, and Michael had a little portable 8-track machine.
Zoom.
Yeah,
Digital
a little
Zoom,
Ziggy.
8-track.
Yeah, it was only 6.
No, really?
Yeah.
And we recorded that at the Foundry, which then was the melting point.
Yeah.
But it turned out great.
Better than we could even imagine.
Well, because what kind of studios were you going to at that? I mean, like that was self, but I mean, there was a lot of studios around, or starting to become a lot of studios around.
Well, I used to be the engineer at Full Moon when it
Okay.
first was built,
Yeah.
and then I got burned out on engineering, and my hearing's not that great anymore. And so, but so some of the stuff like Welcome Companions was at Full Moon, and then then the album Back on My Good Foot that I did before we had this band. I was on a different label then, a label called Jam Mates, and they're a good independent label at the time. But we did that in Atlanta, Exocet Studio. We cut it analog, and then did the vocals at John King's.
I had my 50th birthday at Tree Sound.
Yeah.
Oh, cool.
It was a lot of fun. Outcast was upstairs recording stuff. Everybody wanted to go up there, but we didn't.
When was that? I'm just curious.
No.
I had a friend that worked there.
Do I have to tell?
No, you don't have to.
That was a few years ago.
Oh.
All right, it was more than 10 years ago. Let's just
Was it 20?
Not quite. Not yet.
You're not giving away anything.
we have a mutual friend that worked there, Rodney Mills.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Rodney was an
had a friend
engineer.
there.
He engineered all of the Atlanta Rhythm section stuff
Oh.
early on, built Studio One.
I really didn't meet many of those people, but the person running the studio,
Yeah.
and then the guy Paul, the other guy Paul there. Anyway,
Paul.
that was probably later.
You're talking
on.
about Southern Tracks, I think.
No, it was right
True.
there on South Berkeley Road
Okay.
and Peachtree Industrial.
Okay.
Yep. Anyway, they recorded a lot of people. Elton John did an album there.
Oh wow. Yeah.
Yes, a few. But anyway, so who do you work with now? I mean, who do you trust? Who do you like? Just
Ourselves.
yourselves?
Yeah.
Because you have kind of a unique.
Well, we recorded the Deadwood
Did you?
album at Rick's house. Three of us
Rick.
sat in a circle with 3 mics, recorded it live.
I had a
Really?
little Pro Tools studio, and
Why
doing,
not?
like little demos for bands and stuff. And
Well, when we got associated with Jason Booth, who builds the Deadwood guitars,
Yeah, I'm going to talk about
we just started writing music to instrumental acoustic stuff to showcase the guitars, because we had several guitars.
that. Yeah.
Through
Yeah.
the years. But this was early on, when not too long after we had met him, and we just said, you know what, these are great sounding guitars. Let's record some stuff that he can use to just,
That was like 10 years ago, right?
probably a
Maybe.
little longer than that. Yeah.
But
so
let's talk about Deadwood, because
Okay.
Mike, you were the one who discovered
No, actually, it was Greg Veale.
Greg Veale. Okay.
Yeah. Jason Booth
Yes.
was a trim carpenter, and he played guitar, and he decided to start building guitars. And so he bought luthier books and started building. He's completely self-trained.
Crazy.
But Greg Veale met him first, and his shop was on Old Macon Highway in an old gas station building next to Butt Hut, the restaurant.
Yes.
Well, he was there for probably 3 or 4 years. That's where I met him, though. So Greg had gone in there, met him. He said, "You need to go down and talk to this guy." So I went down and met Jason. And at the time, I was wanting somebody to build an electric guitar body for
A
a neck.
Telecaster, I think I read.
Telecaster,
Yeah.
yes.
Wow.
And I wanted a specific wood. I wanted eastern cedar, and he happened to have a chunk of it over in the corner. He said, "Will
That's
this
a
work?"
rare wood, though, isn't it?
It's not, it's common to this area. I liked
is
it.
it?
The reason I liked
Maybe
it,
I just don't know it.
it's a lot of it. It's not really that rare, but the reason I liked it is I was growing up, my grandmother had a bunch of eastern cedar furniture. She had the big armoires, the chests, bedrooms, and I always just liked the wood because it's almost red, but then it's got white in it too, and I just kind of like the
Well,
wood.
did you get your Telecaster built?
Yeah,
I
I
guess
did.
you
Yeah,
did.
he built. That's the first thing he
Yeah.
built for me, and then shortly after that, he built that guitar,
We'll see
that
that
acoustic
one in a
guitar.
minute.
Yeah, and so that's how I met him.
But
And
you were the first to buy a guitar, or did Greg buy one first?
No, I was the first to buy one from
Okay.
him, and then
Then you guys
then
kind
we-
of came on board.
Well, yeah, Rick did, and then they Jason and Carter Fontaine, George Fontaine's
Oh yeah.
youngest son,
Okay.
videographer. He did a documentary about the building of guitars, and it was focused on the guitar that he built for Rick. And it's on, I mean, doc's on YouTube. It's probably,
Yeah.
15, 20 minutes long.
Yeah.
Oh wow.
And so,
What made that sound so good for you?
The guitar,
Yeah.
well, they're really, I don't know, they're just very, I know a lot of guitars are this way, but they have a very organic sound. They're not lacquered very much, if at all. I don't know what kind of lacquer you, and the wood really comes out. I mean,
When I
the
listened that night,
sound-wise,
it seemed like they matched your no frills kind of ideas
Oh, yeah.
about let's not get crazy here,
yeah.
and that it was a very like I said, I watched them, you guys playing those guitars, most of them, like really watched them because I'd never seen a guitar like that. I have a cousin who lives in the Philippines as a missionary, and he builds guitars that are unbelievable too, but he never sells them.
well, the ones that Jason, he builds guitars out of local trees that fall down.
Yeah.
In other words, he was like
Dead wood.
away from the, yeah, that's where the name came from. But, most guitar builders, especially acoustic guitar builders, they build mahogany, rosewood, spruce top. They don't use anything that's got marks or wormholes or any of that stuff. And Jason builds guitars with all that stuff. I mean, that one that I've got over there, it's got 2 nail holes in the top that came from a cabin that was like 170 years old down in South Georgia. Most of the wood he uses just around here.
So you guys wrote these songs 10 years ago or so,
Yeah.
and you wrote them for him to use. And then all of a sudden now what happened that you said, hey, we need to do something with
Well,
that?
no, it kind of got put up on a shelf, and we got busy doing other stuff and
Life itself?
Yeah, life, and then Jason happened to burn a disc of it and hand it to George Fontaine.
Oh, there you go.
George put it in his car and was listening to it, and about an hour or two later, he called and said, "Hey, I want to put this out."
I can't wait for this show. I'm going to tell you that right now
We're
because
excited about
I
it.
loved when Jerry Douglas put his albums out. Because they were all instrumental, of course.
Yeah.
He really didn't sing. Maybe 1 or 2 times he sung on one of his albums. And you could just listen and it was just pure music. You didn't have to think about what the words were. You came up almost with words in those kind of songs.
Yeah.
You made those songs your own dream, your own lyrics, your own words or whatever. And that's why I'm very excited. Very excited.
We are too, because it was it was on a shelf for 10 or 11 years, and all of a sudden it's out there now, and
Well,
it's
now-
being released, full release Friday.
Friday.
Yeah.
Friday,
And
I'll be there.
yeah, great.
So I'm going to ask you guys to do 2 songs. Is that too
Okay,
many
yeah,
from that album?
yeah, we can do two.
sure.
Because I thought I'd put one as we talk about it and then one at the end.
Okay.
I don't know what happened to my pen, but no. But what are the songs that you want to play?
Actually, Michael wrote both these songs.
Oh,
well,
Michael.
one of them is kind of just a straight blues, but
Yeah.
Michael came up with the licks and stuff.
Okay.
The other one he wrote, and the way we do the Deadwood stuff would somebody bring in an idea, and we'd all three come up with parts, and an hour later or so we'd record it. So
Yeah, most of them were actually recorded like that, and
Like individually, but then came together?
no, it was all live.
No, it was all live.
like sitting
Well, it's
around
all
like
live.
this.
Okay.
we did this. Well, we had day jobs too, so we did this at night.
Oh.
And Rick had a studio in his. It was like a garage.
Yeah.
But we'd just go over. Whoever had an idea would sit there and play it and do an arrangement, and then we'd play it through a couple of times, and then we'd say, okay. So and then
Sounds
we'd
good to
record
me,
it.
or
And,
us.
and that's what it was, how it was
Are
done.
you going to pay? Do you have names for them?
One of them's called Middle of Nowhere, and the other one is called the Rambler Blues.
The Rambler
Yes.
Blues.
And that's a reference to an automobile, actually.
My brother owned one.
Okay. Well,
I have a picture of me as a baby in a Rambler.
my mom owned one, and that's how we as we were getting to be teenagers, we abused the car and wrecked it and tore it up. But that's what the name came from. It's
Okay.
the Rambler Blues.
I can't wait to hear that.
Yeah.
Well, why don't we get set up and listen to a couple songs
Sure.
and have you guys play, and we'll come back and
Sounds good.
talk about them.
Are we going to play this right here too?
Yeah, we're going to set you up. Wow. You know what?
Ready? Thank you.
Well, guys, those songs sound so amazing. I can't wait to see your show on August 2nd at the Rialto. But your release is Friday,
Yeah.
July 18th.
Yes.
And that's got to be some special stuff for you guys.
Oh, it's absolutely. We're
And
just
it's
tickled to
on-
be working with Strolling Bones.
I was going to say, it's on
they're
Strolling
perfect for
Bones.
us. I mean, we've actually known George for probably 10 years.
Well, he's doing a lot of good stuff.
Yeah,
Yeah,
he
he
is.
is,
Well,
yeah.
they have 25 artists on the label.
Yeah, that's, yeah.
And I guess we're the
I
newest
keep
one.
on,
And
every
Randall-
time I hear somebody's label, it's his or New West here.
Well, Randall's on Strolling Bones with
Yeah,
his last album.
yeah,
And,
yeah.
of course, George is involved, owns part of, well, he owns all of Strolling Bones, but I think he owns part of New West.
Yes,
Because
yes.
George Fontaine Jr. is the one that runs New West.
You're in
And-
Athens, yeah.
Yeah.
Athens.
And-
also.
It's
the
it's a
Athens.
little incestuous sometimes,
Yeah.
or I shouldn't say incestuous. I don't like. I shouldn't use that words, but it's very interdispersed or intertwined,
Tight-knit,
or
They're actually, yeah, and they had soundtrack for Crazy Heart. Remember the movie Crazy Heart?
I do. I
Yeah.
love
Well, that
that
was
soundtrack with every
yeah.
beat in my heart.
So
I'm serious.
That
I
was
still
New West.
play it.
That was New West, and so they've got a bunch of
Well, I'm a Ryan Bingham fan.
they've got
100%.
a bunch of roots Americana kind of stuff on New West.
On the
And you
sound.
mentioned roots, the Deadwood album is, you could classify that as roots, but our band, the full band, completely different from this. It's
Yes.
we're
Oh,
blues,
yes.
we're blues rock. I mean,
No,
rock
this
and
is a
roll.
very different project for
and
you
it's
guys.
you
And
know,
that's why I can't wait. I mean, because I think it's going to reflect these instruments.
oh, it will.
so well.
It definitely will.
I think
Yeah.
it will.
So thank you. If you want to go to their website, it is just simply rickfowlerband.com, right?
The Rick Fowler Band.
Sorry, the Rick Fowler Band. I do always forget your
I mean,
name.
we don't normally use the D.
No, but
that's,
there's some
you
information.
know,
There's a lot of information out there about you guys, actually,
yeah.
because you've been around so damn long.
I know we're so old, you accumulate.
But then so am
We're
I.
still
So
here though.
I got to thank you so much for coming on here
Thank you so much.
and
Hey,
being
we
part of
appreciate you
this
having us here.
podcast. Tell your friends, share it on your whatever you share or talk about or whatever, just so I want people to know about you guys and to know about some of the other artists that we've had on this podcast, because it really means a lot to me that I had the, as we say in Yiddish, chutzpah to do
yeah.
a podcast and that I'm documenting some amazing stuff. So
And
thank
you're
you.
doing a good job.
Yeah.
Well, thank you. I appreciate it. So listen, if you're out there, make sure you share my music. Make sure, not my music, my podcast, and talk about it.